So in today's video we're going to be making these super bright neon feathery hearts. Let's go. We are back. So in this video we are going to be trying the feathering effect with the Armor Art neon pigment paste. I haven't tried it with these pigment paste before. You've seen I've tried other things with them, but I've not tried the feathering. And this time I'm going to be using the Armor Art white pigment paste instead of the Resin, which I was using in previous videos. So we're using the collab resin for this one. So my resin is now mixed. I've got a few bubbles in there, but we're going to be mixing up the colours first. And as always, if you have seen these videos before and you find this bit boring, just stick the video in 2x speed by clicking that cog up in the right hand corner. So I'm just pouring a small amount into each cup. I did actually pour a bit too much into this one. The trouble is, if you pour too much resin into the mixing cups, then you're going to need to add more alcohol than what you would if you had less. So we're going to begin with adding our white pigment. Now I'm using less than what I did with the Resinate white pigment, just because I think the Armor Art pigment paste is slightly heavier than the Resinate white. So I'm just dipping my stick. I say my stick. It's a dotting tool. Thank you everyone who commented in that video when I was asking what the actual technical name for for this tool is. It is a dotting tool, and I will put the links to some similar tools in the description box below. So now we're just going to add our neon colors. So again, just a couple of drops into the white resin. Now that base color is there, and we just want to mix that until it's thoroughly streak free and ready to move on. And you can see the white isn't really taking away the vibrancy of the colors. With some colors, what it can do is it can actually turn the color pastel. But I've just shown my UV torch onto the color and it's still glowing really nicely. So there is the isopropanol. We're not going to add that yet, we'll do that last. So you can see in this cup I've got a little bit less resin. I'd probably say a couple of grams. I've poured my resin into my molds now. As you can tell, this is a voiceover, so I was just playing around. I didn't know how it's going to turn out, so I'm now just pouring into my molds ready. Now these molds can be a little bit tricky sometimes to get level, so just play around and move them around. But I'm not filling them right up. I'm leaving a millimeter or two just to allow for the pigments and just making sure there's no bubbles. As always, massive shout out to my channel members. Thank you very much. And to anyone who's new to my membership, the link for the membership tier is in the description box below also. So you can see I'm just mixing up the base colors in all of my cups ready to go. And don't panic, I'm not going to show each and every single one. So there they all are, really strong colors. I really love these neons. They really are vibrant and they do really shine up even better with the UV torch. So in this needle tip bottle I have my 99.9% isopropanol, and I'm not measuring the drops. You really don't need to. I've said this in previous videos. It really will depend on your resin, but if you're using the collab resin, which I am, kind of follow what I show in the next steps. So this is still too thick, so I'm going to use this heart cavity down here just as a kind of a test piece. Again, I have covered this in other videos with pigment pastes. You want that to kind of expand a bit, and you'll see like a ring in the center of the pigment paste when you drop it. So this is still a little bit too heavy and it will potentially blob. So I'm just literally just pouring some more alcohol into the mixture and then just giving that a thorough stir, and then we will test it again. And it is really important to really mix this up, because otherwise you're at risk of blobs and the alcohol just not supporting that pigment on the surface of the resin. So I'm just going in now with a second test drop. I'm still not overly happy with that, so you'll see me just adding some more alcohol until it's at the consistency that I know I want. And this technique really is a seesaw, trying to get the right balance, but once you have got it, it's you know, you can carry on and you'll know exactly what you're looking for every time you mix your colours. So I'm just pointing at that one down there for no apparent reason. It's not causing the ring effect that I want. So I just add a few more drops until it's fine enough and it's runny enough to just fall off of my stick. And here you'll see just in the center, you've got that negative area that's forming. That is telling me that the pigment paste is ready to drop. So alcohol is really important with this technique. If you're using a lower percentage alcohol, you might just need some more. So what alcohol does, or isopropanol, what it does is it holds the pigments on the surface of the resin. It makes them float instead of sinking. So if I just mixed my pigment paste in with my resin and dripped that into the cavities, it would just sink and blob. So the alcohol, it works with many different forms, many different ingredients that you can put into resin. It's just finding that balance, like I said. If you add too much, it's just going to spread out and blur, and it's just not going to work. It is, again, it's like a seesaw. So I'm just mixing my colours and just dropping them in randomly. Again, I'm not going to show them all. You'll see me skipping, and this one I'm just adding more on top just to see if we can get them to spread out a little bit further than the others. And here you can see I'm just dropping the green in. I don't use all the colours in each of the cavities. I just kind of go with just a made up flow, I suppose. And it doesn't matter if some of the colours drip off randomly. You really don't have to be tidy with this. Kind of just drop it in anywhere, really. So you can see as well that the colours have expanded and spread across the surface quite a bit. And you'll see over time that they do continue to do that. So that was the yellow. And also, it doesn't matter if these colours touch. They're not going to react in the same way that alcohol inks do and muddy. These pigment colours will never muddy. They're really good for that. And they're very, very colour fast. So this is, I think the last colour now is just a blue. And you can see this top left one. I'm kind of cramming every colour I can into that one as well as the test piece. And you can really see that blue, the rings. So I'm not sure whether that blue is actually going to give us any effect. So what I was basically saying there is if you go back to a colour that you've already used, you may have to add some more alcohol to it because the alcohol does evaporate. So you might go back to use it and it doesn't give that effect that you that it did before. So just add a little bit more alcohol and test it again. So now it's been about an hour. I'll put it on the heat mat just to speed things up. So I'm just going in with a stir. But what's happened is the heat mat has actually loosened the resin. I have mentioned this in previous videos before as well. It lowers the viscosity. So it's not pulling the colours how I'd really like. So I decided to just do this one and then come back about another half an hour just to stir the others. So you can see I'm just dipping and it's not giving me that stringy texture that I normally have. So here we go. I'm only going to show the one of this, and there you can see that really thick stringy resin. So I'm now going to continue and just draw in these designs on each one, but I'm only showing this one. And you can see it's really pulled those blues and purples and pinks through each other to give us more of a feathering effect and more detail. So I'm just going to do that with the rest. Okay, so I finished stirring, and you know me, I love a black background. So I ran out of regular black alcohol ink, so I'm using an opaque, but I didn't shake the bottle, so it should just be black alcohol coming out. And I'm just applying that to the back, and that will just spread out the same as the one on the right hand side has. So yeah, I will see you for the demold. See you soon. Okay, we are good to go. So I started this project this morning and I didn't check the news. So, you know, my heart and thoughts go to everybody who's been affected by this earthquake. It really is horrible, horrible news. The reason why I'm bringing that up is because for one, the company who produces Armour Art pigment paste is based in Turkey. I've dropped them a message. Obviously, you know, they've got other things on their mind. And also the creator of the feathering effect, Lunar Designs, aka, well, her real name is Damla. Again, I've sent her a message as well, just to send my thoughts and love. It really is horrible news. So, I mean, yeah. Let's continue. My thoughts again to anyone who's been affected by that. It's really horrible news. Right, let's see what we've got. You can see down here, this is kind of rippled where I've been testing to see whether it's ready to go. But I think the black might have interfered with the colouring. It's gone a bit horrible on the back where I've kind of stretched the resin. So we've got the effect. Maybe a black background isn't so good when there's not so much negative space. See if I can get my, just show the glow. It's not going to be as good on this one, I don't think, because that black. Let's get these ones demolded first. You can see that detail. Really does pop with the UV light. I probably won't show them all under the light. Wow. I'm glad the black hasn't really come through as much as the other two. You can just see it. Just. My batteries are running low on my torch. There you go. Some really nice detail in there. Right, let's keep going. You see here I prodded the back as well. Wow. Look at that colouring. I think maybe I could have added a little bit more of the white. Especially to the purple. The purple hasn't really given us much of an effect. But the others have. You can just see that where I've prodded the back just through. It looks like bubbles, but it's not. Some really nice pieces. Where should we go next? Let's go with this one here. As always, give the video a thumbs up, drop me a comment. They really do help. And if you haven't subscribed, please hit that button for me. My goal is 50k by the end of this year. Wow, the orange is really soft. And you could turn these into magnets, pendants, whatever you fancy. It's really pulled that colouring through really nicely. Let's see how bright that one is. Really bright. And the UV is just an added bonus to anyone who goes out clubbing or raving, whatever you call it. I'm too old for that stuff now. Wow. Very similar to our alcohol ink results. Just love, remember when I said the colours don't muddy, but look how that is kind of merging but keeping its own colour, but it's blending together really nicely. I have to try these with the other mould. Let's go up here. Let's see how this orange is in this one. Not too keen on the orange, but it's a peach, very peachy. Really loving that blue. And again up here, just where the colours are kind of touching together. So with these two, I just did the sweeping motion from side to side and then finished in the point at the bottom. You could do these in any way you want. But I really am looking forward to seeing the way the colours have merged in these. Wow. I'll take some macros of these for my channel members. Look at the blending of the colours. Really, really nice. I'm really happy with those. As I say, I filmed this not knowing whether it's going to come out or not. So I'm super chuffed. Last one. Save the best till last, I think. Let me know which one is your favourite. And I will see you for the next one. Bye for now.